G7 foreign ministers are meeting in Japan as we speak. And they're making dramatic statements. They're issuing threats. They say Russia will be slapped with more sanctions and countries that help Russia will face consequences. But it all sounds hollow when you look at how Russia is faring. It has found ways to bypass sanctions. Russia has proved that it doesn't need the West to trade. Let me tell you about Moscow's latest win. This came in Bangladesh. Dhaka wants to do business with Moscow and they're ready to pay Moscow in the Chinese yuan. So Bangladesh will make payments to Russia in the Chinese currency. They've bypassed the dollar. And we're talking about a major payment here, worth some $300 million. It will be denominated in the yuan. Do you know what this payment is for? A nuclear power plant. Russia is building a power plant for Bangladesh. It is located near the capital city of Dhaka. The project is worth around $12 billion. It is being financed through a Russian loan. And Bangladesh has 28 years to repay this loan. Right now, it is returning a part of the loan. That's $300 million. Dhaka was supposed to make the payment earlier, but Western sanctions delayed it. You see, Russia has been cut off from the global banking system. So they started looking for alternatives. First, Russia wanted the payment in rubles. It was hesitant to accept the yuan. It feared losses after currency conversion. But Dhaka refused to accept this arrangement, so there was a deadlock. It lasted for over a year. Now it seems Russia has changed its mind. It is ready to accept the Chinese yuan, and Bangladesh is happy to pay in the yuan. But why does Bangladesh prefer the yuan? For multiple reasons. For starters, yuan is one of the official currencies of Bangladesh. Since 2017, Dhaka has been adding the yuan to its currency reserves. But when compared with the dollar, the share of the yuan is minor. In 2017, just 1% of Bangladesh's reserves were in yuan. In August last year, this went up to 1.32%. What about the US dollar? Its share has declined over time. In 2017, 81% of Bangladesh's reserves were in the greenback, 81%. In 2022, this went down to 75%. So while the shift is minor, it is still significant. Dhaka has started to like the yuan. In September last year, the Bangladesh Bank issued orders. This is the Central Bank of Bangladesh. It issued instructions for all commercial banks in the country. It said they could maintain accounts in the yuan, also settle cross-border transactions in the Chinese currency. Last month, Dhaka made another move. The focus this time was on the exporters. They were allowed to hold some of their proceeds in the yuan. This is de-dollarization in action. Bangladesh is just the latest case study. In recent months, many countries have dumped the dollar. In the month of March, for instance, Brazil abandoned the greenback. China and Brazil are using their national currencies to trade now. Recently, Brazil's president, Lula da Silva, gave a speech. He openly criticized the hegemony of the US currency. Now, Lula wants the BRICS to come up with its own currency. BRICS, as you would know, is a grouping of leading emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These are the members. And Russia, too, is pushing the BRICS. It wants the group to challenge the US dollar. Now, Bangladesh's move may give this push a new momentum. It only confirms what the world already knows, that Russia is not a pariah state. It has a place in the global economy, and it remains an important player. The West may not want to do business with Russia, but there are other countries who do. And they're coming up with alternative ways to settle trade deals. India, too, is in this mix. India wants to deepen trade ties with Russia. The Russian trade minister was in Delhi yesterday, and he said Moscow and New Delhi are discussing a trade deal, a free trade agreement. It could be in the works. India is a key buyer of Russian oil. It also buys key defense supplies from Russia. And this is likely to continue. Then what is the need for a trade deal now? Well, Russia is interested in buying several Indian goods. Reports say their wish list includes more than 500 products from India. So a Russia-India trade deal will make these purchases easier. It will also accelerate the pivot away from the US dollar.